All right, everybody. So I have been away for a hot minute, so I haven't been able to keep up with this story as much. But because of that, my first video that I made about it has been kind of rendered extremely outdated and very cringe in hindsight, to say the least, considering how much extra info has come out since my original stream segment about this topic. You see, recently, a very large and beloved YouTuber named ChuggaConroy got a massive viral amount of attention in the negative sense after someone named Emily Cheshire, I think was the name, or Great Cheshire was the name, on Twitter, made a big Twitter thread levying allegations of sexual harassment and sexual creepiness towards ChuggaConroy, including a bunch of screenshots that seem to prove this. Now, at the time, this first round of screenshots was definitely compelling in one direction, but not towards the idea that ChuggaConroy was predatory or like going against any form of stated consent, right? From the messages that were posted at the time, while the feet stuff was extremely gross and weird, and believe me, as someone who is on anti-foot fetish gang, I have no reason to have, charitability towards the guy, the initial rounds of messages didn't really seem that bad. There were lots of points where ChuggaConroy seems to ask, "Are you okay with this going further?" And then a response that is actually quite affirmative from Emily, which was definitely weird, and I wanted to see more from that. Sure enough, I wasn't the only one who had that same criticism of the evidence that had been originally put out, because granted, this is a pretty large and beloved content creator, and, if you're going to make allegations that serious and you're willing to drop DMs, you're willing to drop screenshots, you gotta drop the spicy, compelling ones if you have them, and it just didn't seem like those were the spicy, compelling ones. Those spicy, compelling messages, though, did exist, and they would come out over time, as this sort of drama has unfolded. Now, the culmination of all of this, the real, I would say, nail in the coffin, the straw that broke the camel's back, the most damning thing about him that has come out, that there is no universe in which I think anyone could defend, is this most recent update. Now, Boblax, the drama YouTuber, has done us the kindness of sort of gathering all of the relevant tweets and screenshots in regards to this and reading them out for us. But this is Twitter versus ChuggaConroy Part 3. And this is in regards to some new allegations and new screenshots that have come out related to, but not involving Emily / Great Cheshire on Twitter. This is a whole different accuser, and this involves pedophilia. So, yeah, it's gonna get a bit dark. Trigger warning, obviously, but let's give this video a watch. I'm sorry, guys. It gets worse. It gets worse. It always gets worse.
So a lot has happened with the ChuggaConroy situation since my last video. As promised, he made his full response to Emily, but after that, some more of his ex-friends came out against him, most notably Masayanella. We will get into all of that, but first, let's check out what ChuggaConroy said in his full response to Emily. It starts out with him saying, "Hey all, I ask first of anyone who thinks it's helping to insult Emily on my behalf, please don't send any further negativity her way. Emily should be treated with respect. I know that I have hurt Emily with my actions. These are choices I made myself, and I don't think it's relevant how I felt or what my intentions were to justify my actions. I just want to say the end result is that I really hurt you and made you feel uncomfortable. I hate that anyone made you feel that way, and I wish you the best. It took me longer than it should have to take the hint that something was wrong when you cut contact with me."
Dude. The worst thing you can ever say in an apology ever is, "I'm sorry, blank, 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 you feel that way." That is a non-apology, as we call it in the PR industry.
Shouldn't have assumed you were just busy with traveling and that things were fine. I only began putting it together when the silence continued. I pestered you for too long, and I apologize for doing so. When you communicated this with me privately a few months ago, I apologized to you directly, and promised I would never repeat this kind of behavior with anyone else. Once you shared how I made you feel, it was a huge wake-up call, and I immediately sought professional help through therapy. I've worked in the months ever since then to do what you have wished for me. Learn and be better. I have done and said similar.
Why is it always therapy? Like, okay, therapy's important. I'm not trying to diss on the idea of getting therapy, and certainly guys should be going to therapy more and everything, but why is it always like, guy gets accused or exposed for insanely weird sexual shit, and the apology or response after, like, a comeback always includes, I went to therapy. Like, is it supposed to make them sound more apologetic? Is it genuine? Is there something about therapy that genuinely would solve this sexual harassment problem that they have? To get sympathy? Maybe? I don't know. It's just, it's weird, because, what was his name? The guy from, Offline TV, I think it was called? The group that has, like, Lily Pichu and Pokimane and Disguised Toast and stuff like that. There was a guy, Fedmeister, I think his name was. Was it Fedmeister? Somebody in that group ended up, like, sexually harassing multiple women in that group, was, like, disowned from the internet, came back, and his apology was all about how he was, like, traveling the world and, like, hiking and climbing mountains and going to therapy and stuff, and it was just super tone deaf. It was the worst comeback / apology I've ever seen. Yeah, Fed, the late night groper. True.
Similar things in years past with other people. I am still friends with some of them, while I have fallen out of contact with others. If you were uncomfortable with how I behaved, this apology is for you as well. No matter my intentions, I'm sorry the impact was harmful. I will not reach out to you myself again. I would like to briefly clear up speculation about my relationship. I love my girlfriend. She was aware that this conversation took place, consented to it. It crossed no—
Additional context, by the way. I think the most damning thing that we had proven in the original round of screenshots released by Emily on this whole topic was the back and forth on the outright lying, the cheating proof of ChuggaConroy cheating. At one point, ChuggaConroy says, "My girlfriend's okay with me talking to people about shoes because it's not sexual, it's just a topic I'm interested in." Now, we go on to see through the, messages, and as we know of foot fetishists, it was not just a topic they're interested in. It is a sexual thing for them, and it gets to be really sexual and really, like, flirty and everything, which is a pretty clear sign, yeah, he cheated on his girlfriend. He was going behind her back and doing something that, at least based on his own words, she wasn't comfortable with.
No lines between us at the start of our relationship, and we are still together. I trust her to tell me if I do
Towing
something
the
to
line.
upset her. I wish to take this space to thank her for being with me through this, and apologize for the immense amount of stress my situation has caused her, because that hasn't been fair to her. Separately from above, I also want to touch on online discussion about other previous comments I've made about shoes over the years. Fitness and footwear are among my hobbies, and not strictly fueled by anything more. I can get passionate about my interests, and I now understand how this can come across, and how it can negatively affect others. One last time, I recognize I have hurt people, and needed to be held accountable for it. I respect—
I have all the screenshots. None of it was sexual. Please let me show everyone. Dog, I've seen all of the screenshots involved in this drama. It's obviously sexual. Foot fetishists find feet to be sexual. It's the same as, like, show me your tits to them. Like, when they say show me them toes, it's like saying show me them tits. Or show me that ass. It's the same thing to them, okay? It is clearly sexual, Dynamis.
anyone who feels disappointed or hurt. I decided around the time of the incident that I would never do this again and learn from it, but I would understand if you didn't wish to support me any longer. Shay responds to Chugga by saying, I greatly appreciate the transparency and honesty in this response, and professionalism in asking nobody contacts Emily further. I hope you were able to move forward and improve from the mistakes you've made. Mac Hodjon says, best response I have ever read from a YouTuber. Not only did you treat her with compassion, but you talked about how you went to therapy, which is huge for your own self-growth. Proud of you, man. Cookie Jar says, the way I'm interpreting this is,
no, we saw the screenshots. He explicitly asked for images of her wearing the shoes. Of her wearing the shoes that he sent, Dynamis. We're not stupid, we're not illiterate, and we're not born yesterday with goldfish memory. Also, we're about to see messages here, spoiler alert, of him sex role-playing with someone he knows is a minor and makes multiple jokes about being pedophilic with. So, yeah, we're about to see some pretty scummy shit coming from ChuggaConroy in a moment. Sorry I had to spoil it, but I can't just let somebody who's done the things you're about to see defend that behavior. I'm not saying that, Zan. I just want to show what I've gathered. Yeah, but he literally asks, I want to see you wearing the shoes I sent, meaning her feet wearing the shoes. That's sexual for him. The sending the shoes to girls and getting them to wear that is what foot fetishists are into. By the way, have you ever talked to a sex worker, like an online OnlyFans girl or something like that? Maybe I have like a bit of unique experience in this regard, but a fair amount of sex workers watch my content, both male and female and non-binary sex workers. And something that's very common is if they ever do like foot content, is that dudes will send them shoes and ask for them to do custom videos in said shoes when they're into feet. So they will literally pay hundreds of dollars just to and send to a P.O. box a pair of high heels or something just to see them do some shit in high heels. Like, not even naked. That's what some of these guys are into. Yeah. Maybe I just have the blessing of knowing a lot of sex workers, and so I have this, like, deranged, forbidden knowledge. But trust me, when a dude sends a girl shoes or lots of shoes and repeatedly insists on seeing pictures of her wearing them, it's a sexual thing.
I fucked up. I don't care what my intentions were. I fucked up. No one has to forgive me, and that's okay. That is such a mature response. Honestly, probably the single best way to respond here. Well done, and I stand by you. Galva.
It's always so hard to tell, with YouTuber responses, you know, to drama or allegations, because I've seen how YouTubers handle drama. I've seen how they make, like, Discord groups to, like, get together and discuss how best to, like, put out a response. And sometimes it's because they're in the right and they need to put out, like, a response absolving themselves. And sometimes it's because they're in the wrong and they need to put out a response that just reduces the impact as much as possible. And it's like, I don't know whether or not this is his genuine apology, or he figured out, okay, there's no getting out of this. The only solution here is to just take responsibility and apologize, which is apologizing and quote-unquote taking responsibility, but it's not earnest. Like, if that was the case, he wouldn't mean it. And I think that matters.
Art Time says, you apologized and made a great response. Apologizing in private, going to therapy for it. I just have a question. Why was this brought up for the public to see when this was handled privately already? It just rubs me the wrong way since you handled it was handled in private. Stake-driven response to Chugga by saying, you guys hashed this out in private and she still decided to try and cancel you? I'm amazed at your patience and grace here. You are a more saintly man than I could ever hope to be. Hats off to you, with sincerity.
I don't know how I feel about the idea of, like, you tried to hash this out in private and she still tried to cancel you thing. Because on one hand, the messages that I had seen between them didn't really come off as super sexual harassy or anything. I don't know. Like, it seems more like, based on the original allegations from Emily, that there was a lot more women behind the scenes with stories like this that had just not come forward yet. And so that's what spurred her to post her story, even if it wasn't as severe as some of the other ones, like the one we're about to find out in a moment.
Astral Alchemist quote tweets Chugga and says, hashtag we are with ChuggaConroy. What a kind man. Not asking anyone to attack her, apologizing, improving himself. This has gone too far and is stupid. We are with and supporting you, Emil. You did your best and she betrayed you. You are not a bad person. Don't ever think you are. Sandrew Y says, so Chugga and Emily resolved the issue months ago in private. Yet Emily suddenly decided to walk it back after seeing people make positive comments about him on Reddit. I'm disgusted. Turns out the issue here wasn't even poor communication. It came down to Emily being spiteful. Lecter and
That is kind of true. The original tweet was, I hate seeing people call the guy who sexual harassed me a, you know, unproblematic whatever on Reddit. And people thought it was Quentin Reviews at first that was being vague posted about for some fucking reason. And so Emily was forced to clarify that it was ChuggaConroy because people were assuming it was Quentin Reviews, and that's not the person she was talking about. I feel like this is a case, if I'm being completely honest with you, this is a case of like someone emotionally vague tweeting, and it blows up a lot more than they meant it to, and they're forced to like go all the way with it, you know? Because sometimes you don't think before you tweet. I've done it before. The best thing you can possibly do for yourself before tweeting something is stopping, closing your eyes, taking 3 deep breaths, opening your eyes, reading the tweet like 5 times, and then asking if you still want to post it. 9 times out of 10, honestly, you'll just decide not to post the tweet at all. And it won't even be like a drama-starting thing. It's just you won't even care about tweeting it anymore. It'll make you so much less active on Twitter in general. But yeah, I do think that she might have just vague posted and gotten dragged in and kind of forced to make the allegations because things sort of blew up with the people assuming it was Quentin.
The light says, what we learned. 1. Emil's hyperfixation on shoes is indeed not sexual. 2. Emil is seeking therapy. 3. Emil's girlfriend consented to the exchange. 4. This was all...
Emil's hyperfixation on shoes is indeed not sexual. Completely false. That is definitely not true. Emil is seeking therapy. Sure. Emil's GF consented to the exchange. Not really based on, like, maybe retroactively, but I mean, based on what we saw and what ChuggaConroy said, the engagement was, like, not with what she was cool with. This was all handled in private, and Emily still put Emil on blast. That does seem to be true.
Handled in private already, and Emily put Emil on blast. Hashtag Chugga forever. Hashtag we are with ChuggaConroy. Aaron says, checks out, I wish people wouldn't use this to attack Emily, as Chugga explicitly states not to do that. Zachary Landrum says, I'm glad Chugga was so mature about this, but he should have realized what he was doing was weird long before now. But Emily is also guilty for essentially being petty by stirring up the drama when it was resolved months ago. It honestly feels like clout chase.
You know, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. As somebody who has been the victim of false allegations before, as you all know with the sex cult thing, and even with my ex who, like, fucked me over and then, like, tried to extra fuck me over by lying about it all and making me look like the bad guy, I really don't think the please don't attack or go after the person who's falsely accused me of these things, supposedly, argument is really... I don't really think those things can coexist, because people are reacting to this, and the argument seems to be, like, we handled this in private, it wasn't that big a deal, but also I'm seeking therapy. It feels like it's a layered response, like one meant to appease the people that thought he never did anything wrong in the first place, to give them some sort of, like, hook to grab onto, that whole, it was already handled in private, and yet she made it a big public post thing. And then also an apology to the people mad at him, but still looking for, like, forgiveness, still wanting to forgive him because they like him. It feels like it's multiple tiers of apology and response meant for different audiences. As far as false allegations go, people saying that you run a sex cult is the best case scenario honestly sounds based. No, believe me, at the time people did not respond to it positively, because the allegation in full was like, or not even the allegation, but like the claim in full from Thought Slime was that I had, like, a circle of young, quote-unquote, women in my Discord that I was, like, extorting for sex using my YouTube clout or whatever. Mind you, I was, I believe, 19 or 20 at the time, and pretty much all the women that I was friends with in that Discord were older than me. But, you know, it was just a very... It was just a very funny and hilarious time in hindsight, and a very overwhelmingly stressful time in the moment. Holy shit, was it stressful, because people were mad at me until I proved myself, you know, not a monster.
on her part. My final verdict: both sides are guilty and both should be held accountable for their actions. No one is innocent in this scenario. Call it a cop-out answer if you want, I honestly don't care. I'm just glad this drama is over, because it was honestly so stupid to begin with. That being said, I'm still going to continue watching Chugga's videos, because of the pure passion he puts into his videos. And with him branching out to do more than Let's Plays on his channel, I'd say he still has a bright YouTube career ahead. Now, before Emil released his full response, but after my last video on this topic, due to people having questions about Emily's initial claim against ChuggaConroy, she decided to clear some things up in this tweet where she says, "I've been seeing some confusion about the timeline of events, so here's some more stuff in chronological."
This came out after my initial segment.
Order, showcasing more of just how out of nowhere some of these transitions were, and how pushy it started to feel, where it was hard to do anything but just try to move on. She then shares the full timeline of DMs that we read snippets of in the previous parts, but for clarity's sake, I am going to go over some of those messages again now with the new context of having the messages in the proper sequential order, but I will be skipping some of the general gaming talk as it's not directly relevant to the situation other than the abrupt change from gaming to talking about feet. And lastly, I apologize for the weird cropping in some of these messages. She showed full desktop Discord screenshots, which makes it harder to read, so I had to edit around some things to make it more readable, but rest assured, this is all accurate. And it starts out with Emily on the 10th of September 2023 saying to Chugga, "True. Though also something I think is fun is that anybody can choose their name for whatever reason. I have cis friends who change their names just because they feel like another name suits them better." Chugga responds, "I suppose you wouldn't need a reason to do it, yes? I don't know if you've been hurting aside from being sick. I just kind of get that vibe from your tweets lately, but I was building to something earlier when you left. You were smart, you were capable, and you bring entertainment to many people. I think you are a beautiful person, and I want you to believe that too. Days can't help but get better if we will it to happen." Emily responds, "Oh, thank you. I really appreciate that. It's hard to feel 100% all the time, but I'm trying. Being sick always makes me such a doomer, lol." Chugga responds, "It's natural that you don't. Your best one day is not your best every day, and that is okay." She responds, "It is. I just have to weather through it. Get all my ducks in a row." Chugga responds, "Hahaha, yep. Now in return, I'm going to need something from you." She responds, "What's that?" And then Chugga says, "I think you know." She responds, "Play Xenoblade 3? Chugga responds, "Not quite," smirks, cartoonishly attacks you as you sit there and try to remove your shoes. Almost got them.
Who is it that was saying it's not sexual? Dynamis? Yeah, it's not sexual? The shoe stuff's not sexual. At all? Really? Yeah? Yeah, Dynamis? Come on, homie. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on.
These next set of messages are from September 13th, 2023, and it starts out with Emily just talking about video games, Chugga saying, "If you have any questions, I'm here," Emily saying, "Thank you," and then ChuggaConroy saying, "Okay, I'm going to miss your shoes. It was kind of nice being..."
Please let me come on. I love both you guys. Dynamis. I would love to have someone on for a debate, but there is no debate to this, okay? We're watching the guy. Let's re-listen to that. We are not debating whether or not
Emily
this
responds,
is sexual.
"Oh, thank you. I really appreciate that. It's hard to don't. My ducks in a row." Chugga responds, "Hahaha, yep. Now in return, I'm going to need something
Now, we are not debating whether or not this is sexual for this guy.
from you." She responds, "What's that?" And then Chugga says, "I think you know." She responds, "Play Xenoblade 3? Chugga responds, "Not quite," smirks, cartoonishly attacks you as you sit there and try to remove your shoes. Almost got them.
Dog, I don't want it to be a debate. I just think no one's giving him a fair shot. I love you, Dynamis. Listen, it's okay. Just chill, alright? Just chill out.
These next set of messages are from September 13th, 2023, and it starts out with Emily just talking.
She gave him consent? No, I don't disagree with that. It definitely does seem like she's not giving off the impression that she's not into it at any point. And she's even kind of given off the impression she is into it and does want more shoes. I'm not disagreeing with you there. But, I mean, it's definitely sexual for him. We can't disagree. We can't argue with that.
About video games, Chugga saying, "If you have any questions, I'm here," Emily saying, "Thank you," and then ChuggaConroy saying, "Okay, I'm going to miss your shoes. It was kind of nice being their caretaker again." Looks at them in my hands, as hard as it was at times, they stunk horribly. She responds, "Oh yeah, sorry about that. It is what it is." Chugga responds, "Man, big and stinky? You've got it all."
Come on, dude. Really?
She responds, I know. And then he says, aw, ha 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 ha. Girl's embarrassed. She responds, it is what it is. I have to live with how I am. Chugga responds, that's sweet. Twirls your shoes around by laces for about 2 seconds and abruptly throws them right at you. Here, catch. They hit you so hard you fall over backwards in your chair. Drat. But just know I'll never unsee, or unsmell for that matter. You'll have to be good to me and help me out when I need it, or I'll tell people. You hear me? She responds, I hear. Don't worry, I'll be good. Chugga responds, good. Honks the rubber toe of your shoe.
I mean, there's just no doubt that she's not giving the impression... There's no doubt that she's not giving the impression she isn't into this, right? Like, she is playing along with it, which is not exactly, like, overtly saying you're okay with, like, this kind of flirtation, but when it's flirting, you know, you just kind of, like, you push a little, see what response you get, and if they don't seem to be into it, then you withdraw back. And if they seem to be into it and they meet you there with more flirting, then you can kind of escalate it a bit. And maybe they escalate it a little bit. But, like, yeah, I'm not disagreeing that there's not, like, this doesn't come off as, like, rapey or anything like that. It's definitely gross and creepy because the foot fetish stuff I'm not really a big fan of. But we're going to get into some pretty nasty stuff that comes up later that's not really a matter of opinion. You could threaten the life of my cat and I wouldn't be willing to say these things? I'm really sorry, Beth. I'm really sorry you have to hear these things, though, Beth. Gah.
We wouldn't want anything to happen to you. Hey, sorry, are you free to talk? You were not doing something else? She responds, oh, sorry, I'm trying to do my homework for D&D, lol. Chugga responds, oh, okay. I just wanted to talk about something. So, like, I'll continue this joke with you if you want. It just sort of happened. I got the vibe you were enjoying it if you were playing along, and I like doing this sort of thing. So I feel like we are on the same page there. But I guess due to just how it could be seen in hindsight, I want to tell you this was just a game. She responds, oh yeah, I know. Absolutely. I don't mind. Chugga responds, okay, I'm glad you feel the same. It's just, a lot of people are into that. She responds, oh yeah, lol, but all good. All in good fun. This next message is a longer one.
No, bro. Did he actually try to play the, oh yeah, the, like, weird, creepy, like, foot roleplay that we were doing? I'm not really into that. It was just a game. We're not really into that, you know? Did he have, like, a moment where he snapped to his senses and tried to, like, go JK unless?
So I just put a vertical version of it on screen, but Chugga responds by saying, yeah, being forward with you because I'd rather not keep anything from you and let you make the best decision for you. I am into that, but only with my significant other. I just also like talking about shoes with people because it's all...
Yes, only into it with their significant other. Yeah, don't worry, guys, I promise. I'm only into my girlfriend's boobs. My girlfriend's boobs are the only boobs I'm attracted to, okay? Like, trust me, bro. Trust me. Okay.
Also an interest. I talked with my significant other about this when we started dating, and she told me I can talk about shoes with other people because it isn't sexual with my friend. It's just something I enjoy talking about with my friends too. I know that might be a lot to share, and I'm sorry if it is, but I feel it's best to just be open with people and consider what I'd like to know if I was in their position. She responds, no, I'm glad to know. Good to have that openness and common understanding. Chugga responds, thank you. That's very kind of you to see it that way. I'm always about communication, even if it's about complicated stuff, because why would you not tell your friends important things if you want to keep them in your life? A lot of people are not so kind about this sort of thing on the internet. Haha, sorry to ping you again. I won't be up too much longer and wanted to finish talking. She then shows more DMs from the 14th of September where she says, and yeah, they are based on a template, but I did modify things like giving the rainbow bottom and using white laces. Chugga responds, I guess I just want to say I won't ever turn on you for merely being who you are. You are safe here with me. I was gonna say that earlier when I called you a woman and not a trans woman. I can't fully understand your struggles, but I am happy to learn and be an ear should you ever need one. I'm sure you could teach me much about life. She responds, I appreciate that. It's interesting and hard sometimes, but it's nice. And most times I don't even think about being trans. Chugga responds, ha 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 ha. That's a sign you are succeeding at being you. She responds, yeah, I'm winning at woman. Chugga responds, yep. After a moment of smells and good feels, you come back down to earth and realize you are still down on the earth. Now, you put your shoes back the fuck on already. You are burning my eyes looking like that. Emily then continues her thread.
Oh god, he's so giga cringe. Oh, it's like the cringe moving through my body feels like how it felt when I drank my first ever shot of whiskey when I was 18. Just the burning feeling, like the heat going down your throat into your chest and down to your stomach. Just a burning cringe.
thread by saying, also just want to say at the time of all of this, I was horribly sick with the flu, and had lost my voice for several weeks, and was basically miserable and barely there. So most of the time I'm struggling just to stay awake, let alone try to respond to all of this. These next messages are from the 15th of September, and it starts out with ChuggaConroy talking about how he misses the PS2 era of gaming, Emily responding saying she missed playing a lot of Wii games, and then ChuggaConroy responding, surprising. I felt like everyone had one, usually alongside one of the other two. So like, I feel for you. I really do. But if you were still coughing and sick, what do you need shoes for? Emily continues her thread by saying, here's another example of me starting to get uncomfortable and not responding, and trying to change the convo. As someone in treatment for anxiety and depression, it's often hard to tell people to their face when they are making me uncomfortable. I wasn't quite sure what else to do. She then shows messages from the 15th of September that start with Chugga saying, and run outside after me like that? She responds, I can hop. And then Chugga replies, you look around me, making sure you know which way to hop before expending the energy. You see me a ways away near my neighbor's house, where a loud party's going on their front lawn. Oh no.
Wait, does this video not include the new allegation from that different person? Hold on a second, chat. This one's good. But is there one that I'm missing? Twitter versus ChuggaCon. Nah, I swear there was some new video that came out. Oh my god, what did I like dream there being a Boblax video about this? Because the thing is real, the topic's real. There's videos that come up about it, but there doesn't seem to be a Boblax video about it. It's the messages where he is role-playing with a minor. It doesn't include the new allegation because there's no provable evidence yet, and those screenshots are from Emily herself and not from a fake Gaia account with Chugga's name. Dynamis, I don't trust a word you say about any of this because you are the biggest ChuggaConroy defender to a delusional point. We're definitely not watching ChudLogic's video about it. Did you guys know that ChudLogic's editor... ChudLogic hates me because I blocked his editor after his editor quote tweeted me tweeting that I had COVID, praying that the COVID kills me. Or that long COVID quote takes me out. So apparently I'm the bad guy for blocking him there. I don't really like ChudLogic that much. Hopefully you guys understand. Christ almighty. Let me bring it up. Oh boy, I'm gonna have to read. I have to read. Christ almighty, I have to read. All right. Editor, cut out the dead air there where I was finding this link here. So this is apparently the document posted by the new allegation maker. Hey, Lolly here. Like spelled L-A-W-L-Y, not L-O-L-I. Hey, Lolly here. I'm nervous speaking about any of this, so please bear with me. I wish to remain anonymous as I'm not a public figure. I'm just a person trying to do the right thing, and please ask that you respect my privacy. I've known ChuggaConroy since late 2009. Hot damn. And we started speaking as friends starting early 2010. We started talking because of a cringe video I made doing voice lines for Gigas? Gigas? I don't know what that is. G-I-Y-G-A-S. I was so excited to meet and talk to my hero, as at the time I didn't have many friends, so it felt extra special to have someone as important as him show interest in speaking with me. At the time, Chugga, Emil, used AIM, AOL Instant Messenger, and I had a potato PC that couldn't run it, so I used this thing called Meebo, which let me use AIM in a browser to speak with him. 2009, that sounds plausible. Skype would have been like... Skype was very around back then, so was TeamSpeak was very much around back then, but I guess AIM might have been used. And TeamSpeak's just a video, or not a video, a voice thing, right? Or was just a voice thing. At the time, Emil used AIM, AOL Instant Messenger, and I had a potato PC that couldn't run it, so I used this thing called Meebo, which let me use AIM in a browser to speak with him. I saved the logs in a message to myself on Gaia Online because of how precious they were to me at the time. I haven't used the site in years, but the recent allegations against Chugga made me really start to think and question our friendship. I dug up everything and started to read through all of the old messages between us, and it's bad. Beyond the 2010 era cringe, he said things to me while I was underage. The things he said to me while I was underage are not okay. It never occurred to me when I was younger how bad the situation was. At the time, I was so excited my hero was talking to me and showing interest in me. For years, I was friends with him and never really thought about how bad the situation actually was. I'm still coming to terms with all of it, and to be honest, I'm not really sure how I should feel. I know it's not right, though. Speaking that way to a minor is unacceptable, and I worry if anyone else has been affected and also might be too afraid to speak out. I understand that people may be skeptical of claims like this. I'm sure if he's your hero too, you wouldn't want to believe any of this. Outwardly, he's a very kind guy. I still struggle with feelings as though I betrayed a friend, but given everything, I'm not sure he ever truly saw me as a friend to begin with. I've documented all the logs I've had, and the only things I've redacted are things that are very personal for myself and Emil. Family stuff, locations, etc. I've screen shared all of this information with Worcester, so if the logs and screenshots are sketchy to you, I can promise you they've been seen in real time by someone else whose identity isn't unknown. It's real. I promise you it's all sadly real. And a footnote for all those that plan to read the logs, please do so with your own discretion, as a lot of the language that I and Emil used is dated and extremely unacceptable to say. 2010 times are really something different and caused me physical pain to read over. Below the screenshots I took from Gaia to show a timestamp, as I just sent messages to myself with the logs. I would have taken screen caps of the whole thing, but for two reasons I didn't. One, Gaia's webpage layout is absolute dog, and for whatever reason, cut off sections of the messages. Two, it would have made it a lot harder to block my username / sensitive information, my inbox with the saved messages. So we've got an image of like just a bunch of emails, message alerts from, I guess, the forums for Gaia Online. Gaia's online webpage layout massacring my ability to take screenshots. Oh, geez, yeah. So basically, there's layers, a bunch of replies on top of each other, like old Reddit used to. Screen caps from the messages themselves, and the message itself was smaller. ChuggaConroy, 2 hours later. Lolly, I guess this person's name is? Oh, ChuggaConroy, haha, ChuggaConroy. People always get so surprised when I ask them to talk or even that I reply to their messages at all. Lolly says, it's only to be expected, no? ChuggaConroy replies, haha. ChuggaConroy says, well, I read every message that's ever sent to me, read every reply I get on Twitter, and read every comment I get on Facebook. ChuggaConroy. And I make sure to reply to the less stupid ones. Lolly replies, XD. Lolly also adds, that makes me feel somewhat better about myself. Sorry, these are really small, like text and screenshots. But heck, that's got to be a lot of people. ChuggaConroy. Oh, well, that's nice if you feel better. Or, well, oh, well, that's nice if you feel better. And yeah, lately my mail's slowed down to about 110 messages per day. Used to be about 250 a day when I was doing Pokemon and Mario Sunshine. Lolly says, that's still insane. At underscore at. I don't know what face that's supposed to be. I guess, like, you know, or like, I guess that's the face it's supposed to make. I don't like having to interpret this 2009 speech. ChuggaConroy says, haha, yeah, it's pretty insane still. It's just that making a Twitter and a Facebook really lightened the load of mail on YouTube. So enough about me and my e-peen. I see you are the endangered species that is the mother. I see you are of the endangered species that is the mother. I go around outside listening to the Japanese Giga's rap. It certainly turns some heads. Oh, really? Want to hear Obsession? One Mother Mix thing from Nico Nico. I have listened to over 1,200 times. This is from the girl posting this. Law says, told you. ChuggaConroy says, my most played song on my iPod is the Mario and Luigi Bowser's Inside Story final boss music. ChuggaConroy over 300 times. Leo says, can I screeny my iTunes for you? ChuggaConroy says, sure. I have a Dragon Roost Island remix in there that's over 200 times also. All right, here's where it gets interesting. Lolly asks, and one question. ChuggaConroy says, yes. Lolly says, just how old do you think I am? ChuggaConroy says, 18. Lolly says, I'm flattered. Really, I'm only 15, turning 16 this year. Well, that's kind of how aging works. You turn another age every year. So this is the point in which ChuggaConroy, who's an adult here, has been alerted to the fact that the girl he's talking to is 15, turning 16 at some point in the future. This is when you just walk away and realize you've made a massive mistake in not asking the person's age first, though frankly he was already treading on pretty weird territory, talking like this in depth with a fan at all, just for no reason out of nowhere. It's not always bad, but it usually leads to cringe shit happening. ChuggaConroy replies, oh, Jesus, ha 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 ha. Lolly replies, what? Sad face. Why does everyone always think significantly higher or lower? DX. Think. ChuggaConroy, whenever I meet people, if they see what I look like, they think I'm only 16. If they just hear my voice online, they think I'm in my mid-20s. I'm really 19. Lolly says, works out in the middle, XD. I'm not sure what people think of my appearance. I've been said to look old and young. And well, you heard my voice, XD. ChuggaConroy, creepy demonic voice. Lolly says, I'm not that scary. Or am I? Dramatic background music. ChuggaConroy. And with that, as a random subject change, I'm now done with episode 43. Yay, no more Earth Temple editing. Alright, so it kind of... He knows now that this girl is 15, but from this point it starts to move away from being too creepy to a fairly innocuous conversation. Oh boy, here's where it starts getting creepy. These were the messages that I remembered and the reason why I covered this. ChuggaConroy says, I know you do. Lolly says, fuh, you secretly love small children. Don't deny it. ChuggaConroy replies, you're only a few years younger. He's 19, she's 15. That's a pretty significant age gap. ChuggaConroy says, yay, creeping. She says, I know that, but it's still pedophilia, but it's okay. The law will never stop us, uwu. And I have no idea what's wrong with me. Lack of sleep, XD. ChuggaConroy says, sounds like my life. Okay, so at this point, when you have a minor who is very clearly not mature enough to recognize how fucked up of a situation this is, the fact that they are supposedly consenting to it is not consent. It means that they are clearly indicating that they don't understand, that they are immature, that they are someone who is not, like, prepared for any type of relationship like this, certainly not with an adult. So that is the point when the responsibility is on ChuggaConroy to just move the fuck back, and it has been for a while now. ChuggaConroy says, sounds like my life. She says, baby, come back. You can blame it all on me. Ooh woo. ChuggaConroy says, you throw out your mop and broom. She says, I had one or two. Wait, I had those. ChuggaConroy says, just like how you had sneakers. Oh no. She says, but I don't. You do. And I wear them when you're not looking. Smiley face. He says, you mean like now? She says, but you're looking, so no. And he says, notices a bulge in your boot. Hey, wait. Pushes you down and snatches off your boots. That's ChuggaConroy talking, by the way. He's doing, like, foot sexual roleplay with a 15-year-old when he was 19. ChuggaConroy says, you're cheating. She says, ... caps, rape, blows the rape whistle. ChuggaConroy says, gah, crams my feet into the boots since I have no other shoes to run in, and runs. Boot fetish, she says, chasing after you in your shoes. When I catch you, jumps on. ChuggaConroy says, gah, is pinned. Please have mercy. This is just vile. Do we have to keep reading? Do we have to keep reading? Because it just continues to be them role-playing out foot, fetish, shoe, underage roleplay. He knows that she's underage through all of this. Can we stop? Please. Please, can we stop? Here's the last bit of interaction here. This is the bit that really stuck with me, guys. This is the bit that really stuck with me. ChuggaConroy says, but yeah, I actually had a normal sleeping time today. She says, it's the end of the world. And yes, my nickname is Lolly. He says, hey, with your cosplays, you really are a lolly. L-O-L-I. Like, child. She says, please tell me you don't know the actual meaning of lolly. And, nah. ChuggaConroy says, lolly has a much nicer ring to it than pedo crush, quote unquote. She says, mad face, oh god, you know the meaning. Dead. Lolly is prepubescent though. Oh whoa. That's a pretty sussy baka right there. That's a pretty sussy baka. So this all started with the Emily screenshots, where it just seemed like ChuggaConroy was, like, a creepy foot fetish guy, but there wasn't any actual, like, impropriety of sorts going on. But here, I mean, this is a pretty big nail in the coffin. Maybe we'll find out that this isn't real, but, I mean, it would be so much effort to fake allegations like this. For it to be, like, through a game that's been dead for, like, a decade. Like, more than a decade at this point. And through a messaging platform, it's been dead for over a decade. With, like, references and, like, the word, like, the wording is exactly the same as he talks now. Pretty much. Like, it just seems really legit. Which is upsetting. Yeah. I'm sorry I had to subject you to this cringe, guys. I really, really am. I'm really sorry. Though, no, this happened, like, over a decade ago at this point, I think. Like, back in 2009, 2010, this happened, maybe. And, I mean, the person who posted this says it didn't go any further than weird messages, thankfully. But, yeah, I mean, this is definitely not a point in his, favor, in my opinion. I think it's a pretty spicy hot take to say that he is in the right in this. Is who's that person that was here that was making defense of him? That person hasn't spoken in chat. That person hasn't spoken in chat since I started reading these screenshots. Anyway, yeah, it's really all I have to say about it. Fuck, ChuggaConroy really did go too far, I guess.